Hello and welcome back to Spell Checker tutorial. This is part 3 called getStarts. This video will teach you how to create the getStarts method, and this method will be used later in the program to shorten the time that it takes to check the input file. In other words, this method will help us later in the program so it doesn't take forever during runtime. Now, as we can see here, our input dictionary or import dictionary method is up and it's taking a lot of space, so we can just use this little minus sign right here to close that so we don't have to look at that if we don't want to. Now, again, like in the last video, we're going to create the method header, but it's also going to be a vector, but this time it will be of type integer, so vector int, and we're going to call this one getStarts. And instead of just an open close parentheses with nothing in them, like last time, this one will have a parameter, which will be vector string dict and semicolon. And 90% of the time, or actually 100% of the time, because we're only going to use this method, we're only going to call it one time, it will be this this variable that the parameter will be the dictionary file when we create that. So down here, right below where we just created the import dictionary, we're going to create the actual method, so vector int getStarts, and it will be the same thing. So you can actually just copy this if you really want to, like I said last time. And then open close bracket, enter down a few times, and we're going to start writing our method. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is create a temporary integer array, unlike last time, which was a string array. So this one's going to be called temp num array with a size of 0. We're going to want to create an unsigned int temp size. Now what unsigned means is that you can check it to numbers that have not been declared as variables, which I will explain when we come to that. So these are just two sort of temporary variables, and we will be eventually returning this number array right here. So we're going to create a for loop, and this one is also going to be an unsigned, if I can spell, I equals 0. Now I like to use I because it stands for iterator, but you can really call it whatever you want to. Dict, I is less than dict.size, which is the length of the entire dictionary, which is around 118,000, and last but not least, I plus plus. Create our brackets there, and this, our first thing, or our only thing, in this for loop will be an if statement. Now I'm just going to write this code here, and then I'll explain it when I'm done writing it. Dict I dot size is greater than temp size. Temp size equals dict I dot size temp num array dot push underscore back I. Now what these three lines that I just wrote are doing is it's filling this vector or array that we created with the number of the line in the dictionary when the words get longer. So right now I'll run you through one iteration of this for loop. So I is 0, so now it's on line 0 or 1 of the dictionary, because arrays start at 0 and this dictionary file starts at 1. So it's like if dict I dot size So dict I dot size would be 1 because there's only one letter in that word. Is greater than temp size, which is 0, and it says, oh yes, it's greater than that because it was 0, and 1's greater than 0. So it says temp size equals dict I dot size. So now we just set this variable to 1 because that's how big I is, and then we pushed back, or push back is the same thing as adding on to the end, where we just put that whatever line of the dictionary it is, which is the first line, and then we just push that back to say what line of the dictionary it is. So whenever it, okay, so it's looping through these, whenever it goes, oh, look at that, there's 2 letters in the word now, it will register and do this code in this if statement. So when the word's stopping 2 letters, oh, look at that, it went to 3 letters right there, A, B, C. Now we do this code, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and so on. So that's what that's doing, and the last thing that we're going to want to do is return temp num array. And now we can build the solution. So check if there are any errors, and there should not be any. And there are not. So now we can actually write in our main method for the first time in our program. So it's going to be in this little block of empty space right here. So first thing that we're going to do is going to create a comment that's going to let us know what we're doing in this little section of the main method. So we're going to tell it the user load dictionary and get starts. So we're just going to be using these 2 methods that we just created. So in order to maintain some readability when we're using the console, we're going to tell the people who are using this program that we're making that we're loading the dictionary. So loading dictionary. So they won't be really confused when there's just a blank console that looks like nothing's happening. So the first thing that we're going to do in this little section is we're going to create a string or a vector of type string, and we're going to call it dict, and then we're going to set it equal to import dictionary. Now this will take a while because it has to go through every single letter, or not every single line, and set it equal to a section or a little part in this string array here. So now that we've just created a vector or an array with every single word in the entire English language, or majority of them, we are going to call our starts method. So, well, actually, we're gonna create an integer or a vector of integers called starts and set that equal to our getStarts method. And you see up here where there's a parameter. Our parameter, like I said before, will be the dict file file that we just created. Now, once that happens, we can tell them that we have completed the import of the dictionary, so we can say complete. And then we're going to just create a new line, and then we're going to tell them press enter to continue. And then we're going to end the line. Now, in order for when you press enter for it actually to continue, you have to say get char, which is why we imported the IO manip. Now this is just a way to use the keyboard, like with keys like enter or any other things like that. And then, since right now we don't need to have anything else in the main method, we're just going to exit 1. Now when we build this again, there should be no errors. We can just wait for that to happen. And look at that, there's nothing, and we can finally run the program for the first time. Now it might take a little bit longer because this is the first time we've ever run the program, I read. So now it says loading dictionary like we told it to do. It is currently looping through every single one of those words in the dictionary and setting them equal to dict. And now it's probably getting the starts of them, and now it is complete. Now when we press enter, it will exit just like we wanted. That will be the end of part 3. Thank you for watching, and make sure to watch the next videos.